You're watching Pulse for the 15th of March, and it is once again time for some Diablo news. In this week's episode, we take a look at Diablo 3 Beta Patch 14 and all that came with it, a roundup of the new areas and everything else that was found beyond the gate in the beta, the fact that PvP won't be coming with Diablo 3 at launch, and more. Let's get straight to the news. We're going to start this week's news off by talking about Diablo 3 Beta Patch 14. The first and biggest addition in this patch is one that a lot of people have been waiting for. Hardcore mode. Hardcore mode is now available and can be unlocked by reaching level 10 with at least one character. As one quick extra, we have been told that this level 10 requirement will be sticking around for launch. All you'll need is one level 10 and you'll be able to make that hardcore character. Then next up in the general changes, cast time to resurrect a fallen ally has been increased from 1 second to 3 seconds. Player created games now default to invite only. You can check allow quick join in the social tab of the options menu to allow your friends to join at any time. Magic find and gold find are now shared amongst party members. Yes, you heard me, and I think this is a very cool change. I can't wait to mess around with it once the game is out. The average combined value of the entire party's magic and gold find applies to all players regardless of location in the game world. The average values will not display in the UI though. Then in the skill UI changes, in elective mode, skills can now be dragged and dropped from the skill interface into hotkey slots. And lastly, right-clicking a skill hotkey will now open the skill interface. Then in a couple of auction house changes, the sell interface has been updated to better match the in-game inventory and stash. The advanced and basic search features have been combined. The active auctions tab now allows users to see all active auctions, and lastly, searches for recipes and tomes have been added. Then there are a couple of class changes for the Barbarian, Demon Hunter and Monk that you can have a look at in the description below this video. Then in the crafting changes, gold cost to craft items has been reduced. Cost to train blacksmith has been doubled. More crafting materials are now required to craft items, and lastly in the crafting changes, the chance to salvage rare crafting material from blue magic items has been reduced from 10% to 5%. Then along with this, one or two follower tweaks, and in the item changes, several aspects of the game's economy have been adjusted, including but not limited to the following: gold drops, item sale values, vendor costs and repair costs. Amulets now become available at a higher level, and crafted items have had their levels adjusted. Last thing worth mentioning is that Mirror Aimon now drops better loot, and monster damage has been increased. Now that's pretty much all they say there at the end. They just say that monster damage has been increased, but as you may have heard in the previous episode, early level monster damage has actually been doubled. This change is live in the beta right now, and it is feeling very weird. It is a little bit strange having monsters do that much damage to you at such a low level, but at the same time, you do out-level it quite quickly, and I doubt it's going to be a big thing in the full version of the game. I mean, those first levels will go by incredibly quickly. So if you are interested in reading these patch notes for yourself, you can find them, as I mentioned before, linked in the description below this video, and there's also a list of known issues that you can check out. So while that's the end of the official patch notes, we're not done talking about patch 14 just yet. Just a day or two ago, a bug in the beta granted players access to 3 zones that were definitely not intended for public play. Not yet, at least. The Festering Woods, the Drowned Temple, and the Fields of Misery. These areas are accessed via the locked gate in the cemetery, and people got there by using some sort of weird partial disconnect bug. Something like that at least, and it's apparently something that's not very easy to replicate. But that didn't stop people from getting in there anyway. Lots of people. What happened is 1 or 2 people got in, and they just shared the waypoints in said areas with their friends, and then after a little while, pretty much everyone was in there, exploring, slaying monsters, and seeing all the new content that they were not meant to see. While I'd like to spend hours and hours talking about these new areas, I don't actually want to spoil everything for those that don't want spoilers, so I will tell you that the guys over at Diablo Fans have an amazing roundup up of this area. They cover all the new affixes that were discovered there, the new events, and yes, it seems like there were tons of new events discovered there, and every single one of them looks incredibly cool. New monsters and even a new merchant. That's it, that's all you're getting from me. You're gonna have to head on over to diablofans.com to see the rest of this for yourself. It seems like Blizzard has fixed the bug that was used to get into those new areas, and they've also wiped the waypoints from all the characters that had them. But But as you can see on your screens right now, and as you can probably imagine, screenshots were taken, videos were recorded, and adventures were chronicled. Again, read all about this below, see those videos, images, and everything else, and enjoy. In the last of the big news we're going to have a look at this week, Jay Wilson has posted yet another blog on the official Diablo 3 community site, and this one was rage-inducing for many people. The post is titled Diablo 3 PvP Update, and in it, Jay Wilson tells us that as they're counting down the days until they're ready to announce a release date for Diablo 3, they've come to realize that the PvP game and systems aren't yet living up to their standards. And with this post, and no doubt a heavy heart, they wanted to let us know that they made the difficult decision to hold back the PvP arena system and release it in a patch following the game's initial launch. They said that they ultimately felt that delaying the whole game purely for PvP would just be punishing everyone that's been waiting for the campaign or solo and co-op content, all of which is just about complete. While a lot of people are no doubt angry or frustrated about this, I think even more would be happy to hear that the game is going to be launching sooner rather than later. It seems like when the PvP patch is ultimately ready, it'll add multiple arena maps with themed locations and layouts, PvP-centric achievements, and a matchmaking system that'll help you and your team get into fairly matched games quickly and easily. That's pretty much all there is to say about this, and while it's not cool that they're not going to be releasing PvP with the full game, we're still gonna want some time to play through the campaign and actually enjoy it, so it's not that big a deal. You guys can feel free to let me know what you think about this. Do you think it's unacceptable that they're not launching it with the game? I mean, if they did launch it with the game and it delayed the launch for another month or two, would that be okay? Would you prefer it that way? Let me know below, and as one quick extra before moving on to the smalls, I will mention that this post was actually tagged with the words "sign of release." So yes, we may well be getting that release date announcement soon. But now onto the smalls. First up, over at the official site, have a look at another in development post, this one featuring yet more class skill videos. You can have a look at a couple of Diablo 3 art slides from GDC, then you can read an interesting post over at CVG titled Diablo 3, this year's biggest console game. And lastly, right here on YouTube, force us a video up covering the new skills, enemies, and locations. Sadly, that's all I have for you in the Diablo news this week. You can read about everything that I spoke about in this episode in the description below this video, and there are even a couple of extra blue posts to have a look at. Check back here soon for more, like the video, and do all that other good stuff, and most importantly, happy Diablo 3 Beta Patch 14 and going beyond the gate.